I try not to compare my journey to other people's, but there's a lot of kind of behind the scenes things that are going on. So like with the networking, with being part of a Discord group that I think I mentioned to you, where there's lots of coders and we talk about code, and it's like an online community, because with COVID, it's been hard for someone like me that's quite extroverted and gets energy from being around people. So to go from that, being in work or being around people the whole time, to nothing, it was a bit like, oh, I don't really like this. How do I exist without like people? That's my oxygen. So I had to kind of curate it online. And in the end of the day, you just think, okay, life still goes on, and life still goes on through the pandemic. It just looks differently. So I went to a lot of like online events where I'd talk to people and network, and you know, so you feel this kind of sense of community, and you build yourself. It builds everything up slowly.
I love that. And one of the things that really stands out to me from what you're saying is you're really finding people that you have shared interests with, right? You talked about your friend who you're like, I'm interested in coding. They're interested in coding. And they're actually going to give you solid advice of things to do. And one of the things that stands out to me when people want to break into tech, I'll often say like, why, like where, well, I won't say why, I'll say, where do you want to work? What industry, what title, what kind of things do you want to be doing? And they'll say, I'll work in any industry. I'll take any of these dozens of titles, and, you know, I'll work anywhere in the country. I'm like, well, you're just being unspecific, right? But the big thing I hear is, I just want a paycheck. I want to be in tech because I want the money, because I'm told that this is a high paying field. And I don't really, someone once said to me, I don't really want to work that hard. I just want to blend into a company. And just, and like, you know, again, to each their own, but man, that's going to make it hard. That is going to make it really hard. So what I like about what you're saying is you actually have an interest, right? You have a real interest in this. You tested it out to make sure that you have an interest in it. You're not just chasing that dollar, which the dollar is important. No. I'm not discounting the dollar.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Right. But you're sort of making sure that you are finding people that you like to nerd out with. And I find networking is easier when you're nerding out. So what are some of the things that you've seen on the nerding out side of things?
Do you mean in terms of like what like being a software engineer is?
Well, you're finding these Discord groups and things like that. I think some people can learn from your extrovertedness, right? A lot of introverts are like, you know, I'm an introvert, and it's, you know, I have to build things like podcasts and things to be able to connect with people because I'm so nervous to just like, you know, go do things. But for you, it's like, I think we can learn a lot from how you, maybe even other extroverts who are struggling with the pandemic, to find people to connect with. Like what has been your process of finding these outlets?
Okay, so what happened was I was just on, so the big thing for me was making LinkedIn. And then I think I went through a phase of just sending connection requests to anyone that had like software engineering in their title. Back then, I didn't even really think about curating a nice like introduction, which I make sure I do now. I was just like, right, you're a tech person, you're a tech person, you're a tech person. I just like would have so many tech people. And then from that, you hear about things. So someone posted that they'd made a group and it was for coders, and I was like, oh, okay. So I joined it on LinkedIn, and then I joined it on Discord. And there's a lot of servers on Discord, but it's finding your tribe and finding the right one for you. And I just felt so comfortable with them. And there's all different channels, and we talk pretty much every day. But what's great is we have coding as our common interest, or most people like coding. So if someone's struggling with some code, you can say, I'm really struggling with this. Can you just hop on a call with me? Hop on a call and talk through it. And that's invaluable, because coding can be quite isolating if the people in your immediate environment don't get it. So you can say to them, like, or to a friend or whoever, like, I've broken my code. And they're like, what? What do you mean? I don't see anything broken. I don't see any glass. What do you mean? There's no fire. What do you mean it's broken? But someone that codes will be like, oh, okay, have you tried that? Or what about this? Or it's a comma, or it's like a bracket, or it's something so small. But it's really important to find people that get it so that they can help you through that and you don't feel so alone. And I've spoken so much about this Discord because it's helped me so much. And when I go to networking events or when I speak to other people from SheCodes or on LinkedIn or Instagram, and they say like, I'm new to tech, the first thing I say is like, do you have a support network? And they're like, not really. Or they might be like, oh yeah. And I'll be like, well, this is what works for me. Like, it might not work for you. You've got to find what works for you. And people will join it or they won't join it. But yeah. And some people will join a Discord and not,
No, for those who don't know, I'm realizing people might not know what Discord is, right? What is Discord, or how would you describe it?
So, like if people know what Slack is, it's like a kind of a forum. So someone will invite you to a Discord channel, to a server, and then you'll be part of it, and there'll be different groups in it. But I think Discord is more, so it's like video chat, and you can go into a channel and talk to people, like voice chat, and then it's gamers as well. So they might share, like they might be playing a game and then they share it and you can watch it. But it's kind of, when people say I don't know Discord, I say it's like Slack. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But yeah.
And it really is one of those things where, I like this idea of just like nerding out. You're talking about video games. You're talking about, it's not just talking about jobs. It's talking about the industry, the career, the environment, the hobbies that pop up around it. If you like code, you probably are someone who likes video games, right? So there are a lot of commonalities beyond just the work that I think people overlook when they're thinking about networking. Everyone thinks, oh, I just need to reach out to them and ask if they have a job. And if they do, great. If they don't, I failed. And it's like, whoa, there is like so much winning that can be done. And one of the things that I've been saying to people a lot is like, when you network with people, if you spend 20 minutes of the time talking about sports or video games or food or travel, and only 10 minutes talking about actually the work, that's still a win. That is still a huge win, because you're getting to know people in this field, in this industry, and you're going to start feeling more comfortable, and you're going to feel like less of an imposter because you actually know people who do this. And kind of what you said earlier, you're like, if no one in your immediate circle is interested in this stuff, it's going to feel very isolating. I felt that when I first started doing entrepreneurship stuff. I looked around me and everyone was just like, well, we just, or like creating content. I look around, like no one I know creates content. So I'm like, no, am I just some weirdo over here? Like, what's going on? And you really do have to step out of your bubble. There's that phrase, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yes. I love that phrase.
I'm curious, like what are some of the, friendships that you've forged while you've been getting into this?
So I would say I've got my friend that I've got at least 2 friends that code quite regularly, and then I have the Discord, my Discord family that code, and I'll speak to on a kind of daily basis, and they're mostly based in the US. So sometimes it's like if I'm coding at 3 a.m, the joke is there'll always be someone online because of all the different time zones, even within the States. And it's like what you said about if it's 20 minutes talking about sports and 10 minutes talking about coding, because I love cooking. So not a lot of the time, but sometimes I'll be like, oh, this is what I cooked. And then we'll talk about snacks in the States, snacks in the UK, or TV shows. And it's like you say, you have to find a community or find a tribe. It's so important, at least for someone like me. I find it important. I think everyone does. I guess people are different, but for me, that sense of community is so important. So you feel like you're not alone on the journey. And also I think it is great to like reach out to people online, whether it's life coaching or anything like that. But I think it's nice to know that it's like someone, when there's no like money as a factor. So that like it's a group and they don't actually want anything financially from me. Does that make sense? So, it's more like it's more organic. Not someone saying like, I can help you if you pay this much. That is part of it, but it's great to find a group in your tribe as well.
100%. And that's the difference between joining a community and, joining a mastermind group, right? Like there are 10 billion mastermind groups that are popping up every day. And each of them, you know, you have to pay to be a part of, or you have to do X, Y, or Z. And, you know, I'm not even necessarily against masterminds as much as I'm just
Right.
like, there are so many less expensive ways to do this. And that's the same with, you know, even the education side of things. Like what I'm kind
Yes.
of getting from your journey, which I love hearing,
Yeah.
and I don't think is talked about enough, is like
Oh,
how to break into tech without going broke.
yes.
How to break into
Yes, I
tech
love.
without going broke.
See, you've thought of the title.
We've got a title for the episode.